Good evening, ReNEWS English is on air. I'm Sona Tumanyan. The term Western Azerbaijan is still on the agenda and Prime Minister is in Japan. From Overchuk Zakharova's statements to National Assembly President Alan Simonyan's visit to Kyrgyzstan, the news flow expected in this release is as follows. Nikol Pashinyan's next stop is Japan. Zakharova spoke about the Minsk Group and Overchuk about the Armenian-Azerbaijani peace agenda. The delegation of the EU to the Council of Europe expects a speedy signing of a peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan. And the sculptor of elegance and the Italian king of fashion, George Armani, passed away. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan met with his Japanese counterpart Shigeru Ishiba in Tokyo today, marking a significant step in bolstering relations between the two nations. Ishiba emphasized the visit as a prime opportunity for deepening mutually beneficial cooperation across various sectors. Japan, a key advocate for stability, welcomed the recent peace agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan, expressing hope for lasting regional tranquility. Pashinyan congratulated Ishiba on hosting Expo 2025, recognizing it as a unique platform for advancing Armenia-Japan interaction. Discussions focused on expanding economic and investment ties alongside strengthening cooperation in education, science, culture, and tourism.
Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan is on an official visit to Japan. After a modest nighttime welcoming ceremony, the Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba received his Armenian counterpart in a more formal setting. The leaders discussed the prospects of Armenian-Japanese relations. Ishiba welcomed the establishment of peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan, according to the official Armenian statement. Pashinyan stated that a bilateral business forum is planned in the near future, which, according to him, will contribute to the expansion of trade and economic ties. He also congratulated Japan on hosting and successfully organizing the Expo 2025 World Exhibition, in which Armenia is also participating. Mutual assistance during disasters has connected the two peoples. After the Spitak earthquake, Japan supported Armenia, and reciprocally, Armenia extended a helping hand to Japan after the great disaster in Fukushima in 2011. There is a memorial stone in the city of Spitak dedicated to the victims of that disaster.
Truly dedicated professionals.
There have been 12 official visits from Armenia to Japan in the last 34 years, including the second and third presidents, prime ministers, and ministers. Only the foreign minister from Japan, one of the world's 5 largest economies, visited Armenia in 2018. By the way, in the footage is former Japanese ambassador to Armenia, Fukushima Masanori, who not only speaks Armenian, but also sings Armenian Eyes and Yeraz, My Dream, My Homeland. 9 agreements, 2 memorandums, and declarations have resulted from the cooperation between the two countries. This includes the program to support the social integration of those displaced from Nagorno-Karabakh. Cigarettes, clothes, aluminum, and electrical equipment are exported from Armenia to Japan, while construction machinery, pipes, oils, perfumes, and more are imported in the opposite direction. In total, in 2024, about $15 million worth of goods were exported from Armenia to Japan, 11 times more in 5 years, and about $118 million worth of Japanese origin goods were imported, almost 3 times more. By the way, there are such stories in the world, Nikol Pashinyan says in a published reel, and tells how people smoke in the streets of Japan. Simon Hovanesyan, ReOpen Media.
The Armenian government announced today it will conduct military training exercises for reservists from the first group, first and second categories encompassing rank and file, junior officer and officer personnel. The drills are scheduled to take place from September 23 to November 28 inclusive. Each participant will be engaged for a maximum of 25 calendar days. Details regarding points 2 and 4 of the decision remain classified. Iran's ambassador to Armenia, Mehdi Sobhani, told Iskan News that documents signed in Washington make no mention of transport routes or anything called a corridor, but only discuss the opening of routes that will provide Azerbaijan with access to Nakhichevan, while Armenia in turn will be connected by railway to Julfa in Iran. According to the ambassador, Armenia and the United States have reached a verbal agreement and registered a joint Armenia-American venture in Armenia, appointed an operator operator and an investor for the implementation of the project, which will be entirely within Armenia's sovereignty and jurisdiction and will be regulated by Armenia's security, passport control, and customs authorities. Sobhani emphasized, according to the agreement, this will be a kind of operation, not ownership of the RUP. He added that the text of the statement between Azerbaijan and Armenia, the details of which the two countries are expected to discuss in the future, fully takes into account the 5 principles desired by Iran, including respect for national sovereignty and territorial integrity, jurisdiction, reciprocity, and inviolability of borders. So there is no reason to worry about it. Sobhani also stated that expressions used under the name 99-year lease for the agreed transit route are incorrect. Despite significant efforts towards a peace agenda and widespread international welcome, Azerbaijan continues to use the term Western Azerbaijan. It has also emerged that identification cards bearing Armenian place names are being distributed to Azerbaijanis at the Western Azerbaijan office, with a number exceeding 100,000. Experts suggest Baku's actions may be an attempt to create an artificial agenda, potentially balancing the issue of the return of Artsakh Armenians should Armenia decide to address it in the future.
Azerbaijan has officially announced that it has already completed the registration of more than 100,000 so-called Western Azerbaijanis for resettlement in Armenia, a process that is still ongoing.
Every day, at least 250 to 300 of our compatriots approach for registration. They approach on their own initiative. Also, those people whose ancestors' homes are located in Western Azerbaijan, that is, in the territory now called Armenia, they also, of course, register as Western Azerbaijanis.
The Azerbaijani authorities are issuing IDs that indicate the person's place of origin, homeland, as Western Azerbaijan and one of the settlements of the Republic of Armenia. In this specific example, it is the village of Chambarak. According to Armenia's former human rights defender, Arman Tatoyan, it is even more dangerous that they are registering not only those who left Armenia in 1988 to 1991, but also, according to them, the descendants of displaced persons from before that period. The ultimate goal of this program is a drastic change in the demographic picture in Armenia and the achievement of the complete occupation of Armenia. The Western Azerbaijan Community NGO is the legal successor of the Azerbaijani Refugee Society Public Association, which has been operating since 1989. This so-called community was established in 2022. It even has an official website, a separate program on state television, and employees directly funded by Aliyev. After the pre-signing of the peace declaration by the leaders of Armenia, Azerbaijan, and the United States in Washington on August 8th, information circulated that Baku had begun to liquidate organizations related to Western Azerbaijan. However, community leader Aziz El-Akbarli denied this information in an interview with the Azerbaijani service of Radio Liberty. According to political scientist Edgar El-Bakyan, this behavior of Azerbaijan means one simple thing: the consistent assimilation of Armenian territories.
What they can more easily digest by military means, the rest is in the form of demographic assimilation, which will eventually again lead to the privatization of the territory, the assimilation of the territory.
Civil Contract Party MP Emma Palyan can be said to have ignored journalists' questions about Western Azerbaijanis, stating that if we talk about our progress and achievements, then what is happening with our neighbors will not bother us.
I believe that from now on, we live in a peaceful Armenia.
Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan emphasized in his recent address that raising the issue of the return of refugees from both sides would create tension in the peace process.
I consider the bilateral discussion of the topic of the return of persons who became refugees in Armenia and Azerbaijan since the start of the conflict to be dangerous, a factor harming the established peace between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
According to the political scientist, the issues of Armenian and Azerbaijani refugees are incomparable, neither in terms of chronology nor in terms of the reason for displacement.
He says, let's not talk about the right of Artsakh residents who narrowly escaped genocide just 2 years ago to return, but Aliyev continues, as they say in popular language, to know his own song to talk about the return of those so-called refugees. Well, that is, why is there so much flattery, agreements, negotiations, if what was negotiated is not kept?
Earlier, Ilham Aliyev had also stated that official Yerevan should clearly say when Azerbaijanis will return to their former places of residence and how their security will be ensured after their return. Mary Danielan, Stepan Tigranyan, ReOpen Media.
A delegation led by Armenian National Assembly President Alan Simonyan met today with his Kyrgyz counterpart Nurlanbek Turganbekoglu in the Kyrgyz capital. Discussions reportedly focused on a broad range of issues, including the development of interparliamentary ties and matters of bilateral interest. During the meeting, Turganbekoglu welcomed the recent declaration adopted in Washington, emphasizing its potential for establishing lasting peace in the region. Simonyan, meanwhile, drew attention to the ongoing issue of Armenian prisoners of war and illegally detained individuals in Azerbaijan, as well as the fate of missing servicemen. The talks come as Armenia continues to navigate complex regional dynamics with ongoing efforts to secure the release of detainees and address humanitarian concerns. Statements regarding the Armenian-Azerbaijani agenda are still ongoing. This time, a comprehensive text has been published by the delegation of the European Union to the Council of Europe. Let me quote, "We welcome the agreement reached between Armenia and Azerbaijan on August 8 by Prime Minister Pashinyan and President Aliyev in the presence of President Trump at the White House, which marks a significant step forward in ending the long-standing conflict." It also noted.
Following the conclusion of bilateral negotiations on the text of a peace treaty between Armenia and Azerbaijan last March, this is an important and decisive step on the path to full normalization of relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan, based on the mutual recognition of each other's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and inviolability of borders, in accordance with the 1991 Alma-Ata Declaration. We note that this important momentum is being maintained, including in light of Secretary-General Bercy's confirmation that the Council of Europe is ready to support Armenia and Azerbaijan as they turn this page in their shared history. The EU fully supports the process of normalization of relations between Armenia and Azerbaijan and has been working for many years with both sides and our international partners to create conditions for lasting peace.
Russia is viewing the pre-signed agreement between Azerbaijan and Armenia with cautious optimism, according to Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Overchuk. He described the accord between Baku and Yerevan as a contribution to strengthening peace in the region. We look with very cautious optimism at the pre-signed agreement between Armenia and Azerbaijan. Overchuk stated, "This is another important contribution to strengthening peace in our large Eurasian region." Russia's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova announced that Moscow considers the decision to dissolve the OSCE Minsk group for the settlement of the Karabakh conflict to be justified, citing radical changes in the region's situation. Armenia and Azerbaijan appealed to the OSCE on August 11, confirming that Baku and Yerevan no longer need the tools of the Minsk process. Zakharova stated. She added, "Throughout the work of the Minsk group, the Russian co-chairmanship made every effort to resolve the task set in the interests of reconciling the friendly peoples of Azerbaijan and Armenia." The Minsk group, co-chaired by France, Russia, and the United States, was established in 1992 to find a peaceful resolution to the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict. Its dissolution marks a significant shift in the diplomatic landscape surrounding the long-standing dispute. And again, Maria Zakharova, Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Maria Zakharova, has declared that the release of Russian citizens detained in Baku would be a crucial step toward normalizing relations between the two sides effectively. Moscow is setting a condition for Baku to improve ties. Zakharova stated that Russia has made 4 requests to Azerbaijan for consular access to the detained individuals and information regarding their health, but Baku has yet to grant approval. The situation in Gaza remains volatile as French President Emmanuel Macron's request for an urgent visit to Israel was reportedly denied. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu conveyed that for a visit to occur, Macron would need to renounce his intention to recognize a Palestinian state, a condition Macron rejected. Meanwhile, the Israeli army continues its advance into Gaza City, entering the densely populated Sheikh Radwa neighborhood, destroying homes and tent camps and killing at least least 24 Palestinians, including children. The conflict, which began after Hamas's October 2023 attack on Israel, threatens to displace 1 million people under the guise of evacuation. Protests are ongoing in Israel, demanding an end to the war and the release of 48 hostages, 2 of whom are reportedly alive. Hamas has offered to release some hostages in exchange for a temporary truce, but Israel has not yet responded. Elsewhere, the Russian-Ukrainian war continues with new strikes and advances. Emergency services in Odessa released footage of firefighters battling blazes in buildings and vehicles after local media reported 4 explosions overnight due to Russian drone attacks. Fighting between Russia and Ukraine has intensified in recent weeks. Donald Trump has stated his commitment to achieving a peace agreement despite uncertainty surrounding the possibility of a meeting and negotiations between Russian President Putin and Ukrainian President Zelensky. A more comfortable city for Yerevan residents. Yerevan municipality employees continue dismantling illegal structures. The turn is for the building located on the sidewalk of Tigranyan Street in the Arapgir administrative district. The municipality reports that a new sidewalk will soon be built there, ensuring safe and comfortable movement for pedestrians. Fame is not what pushed me towards this path. It wasn't money either. It can buy elegance. Making things, that's what has always motivated me. This was Italian designer Armani's formula in fashion. World-renowned designer Giorgio Armani has died at the age of 91. He was synonymous with modern Italian style and elegance. He combined the talent of a designer with the skill of a businessman, leading a company with an annual turnover of approximately 2.3 billion euros.
The fashion world is in mourning. Giorgio Armani has passed away at the age of 91. He didn't just create new clothes, he defined the rules of fashion. World-renowned newspapers constantly called him a postmodern designer, in a word, a revolutionary. Before Armani, men worldwide wore stiff, restrictive suits that resembled military uniforms. Then he appeared and deconstructed the men's jacket. He removed the shoulder pads, the lining, the rigid structure, and created clothing that conveyed not a sense of power, but self-confidence. The war taught me that not everything is glamorous, he used to say. Born in pre-war Italy, the designer certainly didn't reach the pinnacle of fame easily. Armani founded his global empire after the age of 40, before which he studied at medical university and worked as a window dresser for a store. In 1980, Richard Gere appeared in the film American Gigolo dressed head to toe in Armani. From that moment on, all men in the world wanted to be and appear not strong, but attractive and likable. The Hollywood red carpet became Armani's showroom. Now, the Italian designer's company, the Armani Fashion Empire, has an annual revenue of 2.3 billion euros. Unlike other designers, he never sold his company and remained the sole owner of his empire until the end. King Giorgio. Armani hated temporary trends. He used to say, "Elegance is not about being noticed, but about being remembered." He strived for people to feel comfortable and free without sacrificing luxury.
That's much for today. I'm Sona Tumanyan. Stay informed with ReNews.